Alrighty, let's see. Let's see what's going on here. All right, as I cough, too funny. All right, what's going on, everybody? I know there's about a 20-second delay. I'm gonna make sure I give people some time to get their rear ends in here. We have a huge show tonight, and we have three advertisers that we're playing now. So we just picked up a third sponsor, which I'm excited to tell you guys about. If you can't tell, I'm sporting my new merch, and it's pretty badass, to be quite honest. If you are out there, please comment in the live chat so I can at least know there are some people watching as we're working on a 20-second delay with Rumble. But again, huge show. Cannot wait for this to get started. And again, we're going to be kind of structuring it a little bit different tonight. We have some advertisements that we got to get to halfway through the time, but I see some people still are kind of trickling in here. I'm going to go ahead because we do have uh, a a huge guest, so I don't want to keep him waiting that long. So we're going to go ahead and start the show. Alrighty, what is crock-a-lackin', everybody? Welcome back to the Shooting in the Woods podcast. This is episode 232. I am super excited for tonight. We have a ton of stuff to get to, and we're gonna swap the advertisements around because I'm really excited about this new sponsor that we have for the channel, and let's thank them right now. Guys, this podcast is sponsored by our good friends over at fattack.com. Fattack.com is where you can get all of our exclusive merch. This is our new logo t-shirt. You can get hats, flat brim hats. You get multicam, regular baseball caps. You can get cell phone cases, any type of shirt you can think of. And the beauty of Fat Tack is that they are made for bigger dudes. Little people can buy them as well, but if you're a big dude and you like supporting your favorite YouTuber like us, Fat Tack is where to go. We now have the Tactical Manny t-shirt for ultimate low speed and even lower drag. If you want to help support the channel, please go over to fattack.com under the influencer apparel section. Check out Shooting Gallery. There's a bunch of other creators over there. And again, you can get medical gear, optics, flashlights, belts, holsters, you name it. Check out fattack.com, and thank you for sponsoring today's podcast. That is right, guys. Fattack.com. That is where you can get our new merch. We got this nice flat brim hat that we got here. You can also get the traditional baseball cap and black multicam, which is the best multicam. The Tactical Manny shirt, just look at that. Now you get a closer look. There's a manatee with night vision and an MP5 SD. Low speed, low drag. Most people like high speed, low drag, or low speed, high drag. Low speed, low drag. It's a lifestyle. But we also got obviously the new logo design on our t-shirts, cell phone cases, a bunch of stuff. But if you go over to fattack.com, you can check them out. The link's in the description of this video or this stream, and you can pick up some merchandise. It does help support the channel. And again, there is no fat tax. I do want to add that. Most times when you have to get bigger sizes for t-shirts, it is usually going to add another $2-3 because for some reason they think that a 4 or 5x you need to add $2-3 more dollars for making the same t-shirt, but they do not add that, and they throw that savings back to you. So check out fattack.com. And before we get too into the weeds here, I see some people running through the chat. What is going on? We got Jen Champ Jr. out there. What's going on, brother? We got Kurt24. Hello, Kurt. Channel member on YouTube. My man, Flying Rich. Brother, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mosavo is out there. First time. Hello. C&T Designs. What's up, Coop? How you doing today? And we got Chrissy Turtel. What's up, my love? Guys, check out the Heller Foundation. Great organization. All right. So guys, there's sometimes that I'm fortunate enough to get people like this on the show for a company that is probably one of the biggest juggernauts in the industry. They are able to get some of the most affordable receivers. They are supportive of the builder community. They have a couple different lines. There's now they decided to step into the handgun line. They've been around for years, and I've always wanted to pick them up just because, again, me growing up in a state where I couldn't have an AR-15, this company is the one company that I always looked at because they were, to me, the industry standard. So let's welcome Kyle Wade of Anderson Manufacturing onto the show. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Joe? Thanks for having me on, man.
No problem, man. I'm super pumped. Again, we got 11 people watching. Please do me a favor and smash the thumbs up. Share this with all your friends. We got Flying Rich out there saying hello, Kyle. So, all right, Kyle, let's get right into it. How did Anderson, Anderson Manufacturing has been around for years. When do you think, what is Anderson Manufacturing's kind of like story? Like, was it like a mom and pop shop where they decided to get into manufacturing and then it kind of just took off from there? Because from my understanding, I didn't see Anderson becoming like a thing. Like, and when I say becoming a thing, it's they started picking up a lot of speed and they started picking up so much notoriety probably around like 2012 2013, probably a little bit before that. What is the origins of Anderson?
So the origin of Anderson's actually pretty deep, a lot deeper than a lot of people know. We've almost been around 70 years, if you want to count start to current date.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Anderson started off as a tool and die shop.
Okay.
Anderson Tool and Die. It's always been a family-owned business. It was started by William Anderson back in 1955. He had his son working in the tool and die shop, turning parts, turning tools, turning dies, and that carried on. And his son passed it on to his sons, who are now Charles and Carl Anderson, the owners of Anderson Manufacturing as it is today. Around 2005, 2006 timeframe, one of the big firearms manufacturers in the industry reached out to Anderson Tool and Die, asking them for help on some OEM work to make lower receivers. Got us the specs, got all that, started turning machines, started turning out some lower receivers. That manufacturer wound up going bankrupt a couple years later. So Anderson Tool and Die was left with all these lower receivers, kind of not knowing what to do with them. So at that point, Charles and Carl got together, made a decision like, hey, why don't we put our own roll mark on these and see how we do with selling some lower receivers. So did all the ATF stuff, all the technical stuff, started manufacturing lower receivers as Anderson Manufacturing, and that's really where the Anderson Manufacturing came in, the shift from Tool and Die to Anderson Manufacturing right there. And then I think 2009, 2010 is where we were like, all right, the tool and die shop stuff, we're going to put that to the side and we're going to go full blown AR-15 manufacturing. And a lot of evolutionary steps along the way, like barrel making, bolt carrier making, I mean, you name it. We make it. Got us to where we're at today, complete firearms. So we got your AR-15s, the AR-10s, like you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, the handgun. So pretty illustrious history. And a lot of people don't know about Anderson Manufacturing is next year we'll be hitting our 70-year mark.
That is crazy. I didn't know you guys started off as a tool and die maker. Because when I think Anderson, I think of lower receivers, parts kits, and now the Kiger.
Yeah.
And as you and I were on John Crump Live about 2 weeks ago, and then we start getting into all these different lines that you guys make, and I'm like, oh wow. And again, me coming from 2012 2013 is when I kind of started getting into firearms. I was always that like again, that was a huge boom. Everyone thought, ARs were getting banned. So as a company, you have the facility to just kind of ramp up production, and then there you go. So that's actually really interesting that you got to the point where you go from tool and die to where you're pretty much making everything in house. I can imagine you guys make some stuff outsource or whatever. But how does that wrap into you start working for Anderson Manufacturing? So for people who don't know, Kyle is the marketing guy over at Anderson. Like I don't know if you're the head of the marketing department, because I know you said there's kind of more people getting hired for that, but
So I am technically the content manager. That's my title. So we did bring in a marketing director. She's awesome. Like I was telling you, she came over from the 6 Hour Academy up in New Hampshire. So I'm excited to learn from her. She's got 20 plus years experience in this industry, and anybody out there has any marketing experience in this industry, that is very rare, because this is not an easy product to market. You got a lot of landmines in the way, to say.
Yeah, I mean, no, that the firearms industry, that would never be landmines. I see our my live chat blowing up. What is going on? We saw Goonbeam out there, guys. Check out Goonbeam. EDC V2, my EDC flashlight. You save 10% off by using code JoJuice. I see who else? DLD After Dark is out there. What's going on, dude? Agorizer's out there. Hello. All these people. Big shout out to John Crump, because he's the one apparently that sent everybody over from his live chat. So thank you, my man. Let's see. Ooh, and we have I know we were talking earlier. You guys are going to be at Goals in August, but Dick Heller of the Heller Foundation is going to be coming by the booth to come say hi to you guys.
Nice.
So I don't know if you ever had the pleasure of meeting the said gun dude, but he's out there. What is going on, everybody? Thank you. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. And again, John Crump, if you're out there, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. All right, so let's get into how you kind of started working at Anderson.
Yep. So Anderson Manufacturing is located in Hebron, Kentucky. I am a Hebron, Kentucky native, born and raised. So Anderson Tool and Die has always been a staple of our community.
Yep.
It's just one of the bigger shops in the town. And gosh, when I was growing up, like, we had a highway and a grocery store, and that's about it. So Anderson Tool and Die was big. But as the Cincinnati airport grew, which is in Hebron, Kentucky as well, went international, Hebron grew. And yeah, there's a lot of big things in Hebron now. But yeah, grew up in Hebron, Kentucky. So always knew about Anderson Tool and Die. Joined the Marine Corps 2006, kind of left home, came back on leave or whatnot every now and again. But around the same time frame where you mentioned that you started hearing about Anderson Manufacturing, I started hearing about Anderson Manufacturing. Like, wait a second, the tool and die shop's making receivers now? Like, what's going on with that? So I kept my eye on it. I stayed in the Marine Corps. I had to medically retire, unfortunately, in 2017. But coming out, I was like, man, it'd be really cool to work at Anderson, but I also want to get my education handled because Uncle Sam's paying for it. Like, why am I going to leave a diploma on the table? Like, I'm gonna clean the table real quick. So I went to school, did 4 years at Northern Kentucky University, got a journalism degree. Helps out with communication, but it does not pay the bills, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was when COVID hit. So it was around 2019, 2020 timeframe. I was working on campus because on the GI Bill, if you don't know, they do give you some stipends and like money to live off of. So you don't technically have to work. But I got a wife and a kid. So it didn't necessarily cover everything I needed. So I had like a little part-time job on campus. COVID hit. I unfortunately had to leave that job because they were laying everybody off because everything shut down. Everybody's going to school remote now. We don't need you on campus. So at that point, I was like, all right, cool. I'll kind of ride this out, see what happens, because nobody knew what the hell was going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to ride this out. This is going to happen. This is going to be over in a month, you know?
I was like, it'll be a couple weeks. Like, this is a big scare thing, and then we'll be back to normal 2 weeks.
3 years later, you're like,
yeah.
whoa.
That's about what it took, was 2 weeks, where I started going stir crazy at the house, and I was just like, man, I gotta find something. You can only do so many online courses, and then you're like, all right, I gotta do something. So I actually wound up a really unorthodox way of applying for a job here. I reached out to Anderson Manufacturing via Facebook message. This kind of listed my credentials. Hey, grew up in Hebron, Kentucky. I've got all this experience in the military, like, so I know how to deal with rifles, serial numbers, all that. Would you guys have a spot for me? And the next day, or it could have even been that night, I got a phone call from a Hebron number that I didn't know. Answered it, and it was Teresa Anderson. I'll never forget it. The owner, Charles Anderson's wife. And she's like, well, what are you doing tomorrow? We'd like to bring you in for an interview. And I don't know. It seems pretty simple to say it out loud. But something about, I get goosebumps just talking about it. Something about that was like, man, you know what? I think this was meant to be. Went in for the interview. Nailed it, obviously. I'm here. But started off down the rifle assembly area. And in the rifle assembly area, the way it works is you kind of start off at the buttstock station. Then you work your way to the hammers and triggers. And then when you're a big shot, like you got everything on the lower side down, you can start off with the block. And that's doing all the control work, the pivot pin, all that good stuff. And eventually worked my way up to where you were saying that you were going to do it 6 hours. I was a test fire. And when you're the test fire guy, like, you control that whole assembly area. So I did that. I was down there working in the assembly for about 2 years. Then I wound up transitioning to night shift, because we had to start a night shift just because production started going off the walls with COVID, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it went to night shift, was on night shift for about a year. In that year, I transitioned over to machining. So I was working with low receivers, cleaning them up. I call it a machine operator. I definitely was not a machinist. I don't know all the technicalities.
You press the button. That's it.
Press the button, clean up the parts when they get out.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a gauge whenever I need to, and check my parts. But no, man, other than that, once I did earn my degree, and during this whole time, I'm still going to school, wound up earning my degree in that third year here at Anderson. They put me back to first shift because I was done with school. So my schedule was going to cooperate with a first shift job again. Down in assembly, the vice president of sales came down like, hey, we haven't had anybody in marketing for X amount of years. Like, would that be something you'd be interested in? Like, I'm a journalism degree, man. Like, I know nothing about marketing. He's like, but you know how to communicate. And I was like, yeah, I could communicate. That's right. So it pulled me up. We talked it out, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll do it for Anderson because I love this place. So, not the most well-versed marketer here or in the industry, I'll say that for sure. But I will study my ass off and get good at it and learn. And here I am, brother. So that's kind
such
of
a like that's in the American dream. You started, not, I wouldn't say at the bottom, but an entry level job, and you work yourself up to where, you have that experience of, hey, I worked in the factory. Like, I know what it's like. And, from what it sounds like, Anderson's like kind of not, I wouldn't say a small mom and pop, but like at one point you just said they didn't really have anybody in marketing for years. Because again, Anderson's kind of sold themselves, So before we get too much into the conversation, because I can see this already going down a rabbit hole, because I'm going to be nerding out. We do got a couple more people we got to thank. We got to pay the bills. So give me 1 second, guys.
Let's do it.
Guys, this podcast is sponsored by the amazing people over at Aegis Gun Care. Aegis Gun Care, I've been saying it for years, is the leader in firearms cleaning, lubrication, and solutions. It's a 2-part system. You guys have been hearing it forever. I love Aegis Gun Care. This is the cleaner. It gets all your carbon off your firearms. It doesn't have a smell, and it's non-toxic. Then you follow it up with their special lubricant. We call it Joe Juice here on the Shooting in the Woods podcast. This stuff is amazing. It prevents rust. It lubricates your firearms. It does a ton of amazing qualities, you guys. I cannot stress enough how much I love Aegis Gun Care. They also have cleaning kits available. This is their field kit. You get everything from 22 up till 45. You can get patches, you can get hats, merchandise, and even some pretty cool cleaning mats. If you do me a favor and go over to Aegis Gun Care and use code JOEJUICE, you will save 10% off your entire order. And we thank Aegis Gun Care so much for sponsoring today's podcast. As I said, and I say every week, guys, use code JOEJUICE. Save yourself 10% over at Aegis Gun Care, the best cleaner in the game. And if you guys use code JOEJUICE, you actually can save 10% off at AndersonManufacturing.com. The ticker is on the bottom of the screen right now. So big thanks to Kyle for hooking us up with that. And that is a thank you for you guys watching the show and that watch this channel. We have the live chat is going crazy, which I'm loving. Thank you so much, guys. A lot of people are saying their first AR-15 or first low receiver they had was an Anderson Manufacturing rifle and or receiver. I see Johnny 3-Bar out there. What's up, Johnny? Let's see if I'm missing any questions here. Is Anderson near the Corvette Museum?
It is not. The Corvette Museum is about an hour and a half away from us.
Okay, that was a question from Flying Russian. He's a big, he's a big car guy, so he had to ask. Let's see. Agar says I still have an unbuilt DTOM Anderson lower. I don't know what is a DTOM Anderson lower?
You got me on that one.
Okay, so that's probably something I don't I'm not good with acronyms.
I'm so bad.
I'm like Niner 7, I don't know. CNT Design saying the first AR he ever built was an Anderson 80% lower, which I know you guys don't make anymore, sadly. Stupid laws.
We're gonna figure that out though.
That'd be cool.
Because he knows a guy, so yeah. Hopefully we figure that out.
Let's see here. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anybody in the chat. Okay. Aegis deodorant coming soon. Yes, Rich, we're gonna have Aegis deodorant.
I know what DTOM is. Don't tread on me.
Oh, don't tread on me. Oh, okay. See, look at that. Look at that. Thank you so much, DLD After Dark, for putting that. There you go. See, we're both horrible with acronyms.
I'll just eat another crown.
Well, thank you for your service. I can't make that joke. Unless it's Tony Simon. I will 100%. I will make fun of him. He gives me a hard time. Safety Harbor Firearms is out in the chat. Walter, what's going on? All right, so let's kind of get into some of the stuff that Anderson makes. Now, you guys obviously had the lower receivers of what they are affectionately coined poverty pony lowers.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that mantra has followed Anderson, because I've shot so many Andersons in my time as a gunsmith. You guys offer a fantastic line of AR-15s that you kind of have a little bit of everything, where you have your entry level A4 types, where you have your A2 front sight, a mil spec AR-15 adjustable stock, the mil-spec trigger, your basic, Then you got your M-Lock series, which has, a free-floated handguard. But now recently, you guys just got into the Frontline series, which, again, we're going to be having a Frontline AR-15 pistol in 11.5 coming to the channel. And we're going to be doing a crap load of testing with it, and I can't wait to check this out. I already got a flashlight and optics set up for it. It hasn't got here yet, so we're just waiting on that. But kind of reeling back, why, how does Anderson, would they have such a wide variety of products, not just from low receivers to AR-10s, parts kits? You guys make all your stuff in-house, and what happened to where the poverty pony mantra came around? That's the one thing I never understood, because every Anderson I've ever had get to shoot never had a problem. No tolerance issues, no quality issues. Where did that come from, and how do you guys deal with that?
So I think it spouts from a few things. One, when you're producing on a mass production scale, I will not. I refuse to sit here and tell you that some mistakes don't happen,
Yeah,
because
that's
mistakes do
understandable.
happen.
At a mass production, things are gonna happen here or there.
That
You're gonna get that with any company.
tools wear down, et cetera, et cetera. Employees wear down. All that comes into play. Number two, like you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, we are a huge supporter of the builder community. Now, you get an AR-15 that somebody built on their own and it has an Anderson low receiver, and that AR doesn't function. Who are you blaming?
Exactly.
Anderson Manufacturing.
Not the monkey that decided to put completely bad eBay parts kits in there, and they don't know
Or their Chinese
what.
barrel, or whatever the case may be, man. So I think a lot of that comes into play. How do we handle it? We really just, me personally, I laugh. I love the memes, man. I love it. I really do. To me, I think people just equate having like a budget friendly product as being a low quality product.
Yep.
Which isn't the case.
Never the case. I've shot some higher end guns that were horrible, and we had to send them back.
Me too.
So it does come into that idea of, okay, you got a mass production scale, tools are going to break, bits in the machine are going to snap, employees might have a bad day. Shit happens, mistakes happen. But I always ask the guys from High Point the same question, and they kind of have the same answer. Like, we just laugh. Like, okay,
yeah,
I still have a job. What are you gonna say, dude?
Yeah.
So,
and at the end of the day, too, we do hear you.
Yeah.
We hear the masses, and it's kind of sparked, which to our benefit, sparked this evolution of quality and trying out different things, different ways to ensure that nothing slips through the cracks. And man, we're really getting pretty airtight on that. So it's really actually helped us a lot. All the hate. So
yep.
haters,
Christy
we
Trotel.
appreciate.
Yeah, Christy Trotel's out there. She says, if you don't have haters, you're not successful. Screw 'em. Anderson is fire. And then Flying Rich would also like to add, saying, Kyle loves memes. He may regret hearing that. LOL. So I do want to get into the Frontline series, because not only do you guys have the Frontline, which is, I would say, you're kind of, they're around the $800 mark, depending on the length and configuration you get. But you guys also have Anderson Custom Shop, which I had no idea was a thing. Which anytime any manufacturer has a custom shop, the creativeness in my mind goes off, and it's like, okay, well, what's the custom shop? But before we get into the custom shop, the Frontline series,
Yeah.
what stemmed from that? Because the AM-15 to me was just kind of like your run-of-the-mill entry level. You got a free float handguard. Sometimes if you got the A4 configuration, it was your entry level rifle or pistol, depending on the configuration. The Frontline series, how did that kind of come into play?
So kind of back to the mom and pop shop mantra. We're here, Hebron, Kentucky. It's in Boone County, and the Boone County sheriffs happen to just be frequenters that come through, and they like to come tour the facility, or whenever they're doing a range, they'll ask us if we want to tag along, go test out some new guns, stuff like that. Eventually we got to a point where we had a serious conversation with our sheriff, like, hey guys, we're coming up. We got all this money on our budget. We want to start getting our sheriffs armed up with some duty rifles, because before that, they were having to buy their own personal duty rifle and suit it up however they need to. But the sheriff's department decided they wanted to start offering that. So we came up with a few designs. We called it our Defender series. They came off a completely different assembly line, where we took former LE guys and veterans, put them all on the assembly line, and we called that our Defender series line. So we ran some rifles for Boone County, tested the crap out of them, went through some of their different testing phases and stuff like that. It was really cool, actually. So we developed this Defender series. Well, Boone County Sheriff's, the word got out that they have them. So we started getting calls from other departments across the nation. And the Defender series started selling well. And we're like, well, if it's going like this with the LE, why not offer up a civilian version, a civilian variant of some of these rifles that we're making for these departments? And that's how the Frontline series came about.
Yep.
So having that ambidextrous charging handle, some of the newer Magpul furniture, the updates that we did to our rails where they got that shoulder, that that tapered retention system where it won't walk out on you. Playing with the buffer weights, matching up the buffer weights with the gas system to make it a soft shooter for easy follow-on shots, stuff like that. We took all that knowledge that we learned from developing the Defender series, put it into our Frontline series, and that's what you see on our website right now.
Yeah, and this thing looks slick. The handguard I like. You have integrated QD, which is awesome, and it comes with pretty much everything that most people already upgrade their rifles to. I've never had experience with because I know I'm getting a pistol, so the brace. I'm interested to see how that works, but the Frontline, I think it's a great. Because your AM on the website now. So for people out there listening, the regular A4 or your entry level guns are they're coming in around. They are not quad rails. Never quad rails. So $5.99. You could probably get them cheaper, depending on what site you go. So they're around, say, $5.50. Now the Frontline is going to be coming in around $800 depending on the configuration. So you're kind of getting that entry level stuff. Then you guys go in, you have, upgraded hand guards, upgraded pistol grip, trigger, all that stuff. Now the custom shop, how is that considered your utility line or no? Because you have the utility line, which is, I'm guessing, more geared towards your LE and stuff like that, where there's probably some different, different stocks. So there's there's an 18 and a 20-inch variant on your utility line. But the custom shop, is that where you kind of get even more like Gucci, if we're gonna throw that word out there?
To be honest with you, we've only began to scrape the surface of what we hope the custom shop becomes. Right now, the custom shop is kind of serving as like how do I say that? I guess a vehicle to kind of deliver the rest of the Remington custom shop that we bought before they moved from Illinois, New York. So what you're going to find inside our custom shop now are Remington 700s that are hand blueprinted, accurized by our gunsmiths here at Anderson, and put together by our gunsmiths here at Anderson. We're really trying to offload as much of that Remington stock as we can before we start delving into some of our own product lines and starting to get Gucci with those, like you said.
Yep.
Put some Tigers through there, some of the Frontline guns, get some custom Cerakotes, limited run editions of just some of our different product lines that, we are only going to make 50 of this product. Come and get them. That's the only time you'll ever see them.
So like Dictator guns.
Pretty much.
When I mean Dictator, I want 24 karat gold. All right.
I want a gold plated poverty pony, bro.
I love it. Oh man, you do not realize how much the internet is going to meme like. I can only imagine Anderson's Twitter account right now saying gold-plated poverty ponies. Oh man, I'd buy one. I would if I had a match set.
I would too.
Yeah, match upper and lower set. I just stick them in the safe and be like, I don't know, I'll do something weird like 6.8 SPC or something.
Yeah.
Something to just annoy people. That is too funny. I do want to keep up with the chat. Again, everybody that's watching out there, thank you so much. Make sure you're smashing the thumbs up and use code JoJuice over at Anderson Manufacturing. You save 10% off and it helps support the channel. Okay. DLD After Dark, which is a great channel. We run the Pumongous podcast on Sundays here on Rumble. I'm going to link you guys up before we get off, after the show ends. I think you guys would nerd out really good on his show. He says, I think Anderson has been great and is very affordable as far as the receivers go. I really like to get a hold of one of their complete frontline rifles. And then he also has a question in regards to the handguards. Or, I'm guessing he wants to know like the material or like how what type of machining goes into them, because he's looking to put a laser aiming module or LAM because he's starting to get into night vision.
6061 aluminum.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a very durable one. So that there you go, Dirk. I think it'd be good. Make sure I'm not missing anybody's questions. So Flying Rich, love QDs. Yes. If you're putting, I think if you're putting a gun out there and doesn't have QD sockets, you've already lost. I'm not really like I want if you at least give me the ability for QD, that's all I care about. Yes, I am making fun of Keltec with no QD. But
Keltec's some innovators though.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. They're innovators, but like, dude, throw some fucking QD stuff. Come on, man.
QDs,
Yeah, I don't need HK clips. I don't need to get like a GG and G mount to hook it through my A2 front sight. Like, no, like this isn't nom. There are rules, Smokey. It's my biggest complaint with them. But okay, so with the AR-10s, which I've never had any experience with an Anderson AR-10. Love to try them one day. The parts kits is what I do want to get into, because I know you guys have a 4th of July sale coming up. Is it? I don't know if is it going on now, or is it starting like next
starts
week?
next Wednesday.
All right, so let's go over the 4th of July sale. What you guys got right now?
15% off site wide, brother.
Look at that, guys! 15% off site wide. That's receivers, firearms. I know you guys saw magazines on there, parts kits, lower parts kits, upper parts kits. Go check it out. 15% off site wide. And while you're on there, I'm pretty sure you could probably get an additional 10% if you use code JOJUICE. So you can get a potential of 25% off. Just throwing it out there.
Not going to confirm or deny that. That might be a cheat code, though.
See? Cheat codes, guys. We all love them. We also get the big books when we play, Grand Theft Auto. We had, we had the binders that had unlimited guns, unlimited health. Yeah. So cheat code for Anderson. You can get that much off.
Anybody out there have the Game Genie back in the day for Super Nintendo?
I didn't. No, I did not have that. I went to the GameStop. I bought the big thick book that had all the cheat codes of all the games for PlayStation 2. I only used it for Grand Theft Auto, and then the internet came out, and I would just go on whatever website. I forget what it was called.
I'm gonna say that book. I beat Metal Gear Solid thanks to the big thick book. Final Fantasy.
Yep, that's how I beat Duke Nukem, because I was just like, I'm tired of dying, so I just got these like big ass guns with unlimited ammo, and I beat it in like literally like 2 hours. My dad's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, no, nothing, Dad." And he sees the piece of paper. He's like, "Hey, for real." But so we got that sale going on, guys. Check that out. Make sure you're using code JOJUICE. We got 35 people watching the show. Thank you guys so much. Before we get any farther into this, we have one more sponsor we have to thank, so let's pay the bills real quick. Guys, this podcast is sponsored by Liberty Bell Firearms. Liberty Bell Firearms is the Cerakote of choice here on the channel. They did the Kit Kat build, paint on the frame. This is the SCT frame. Everything we built over from Brownell's Parts. I said, man, I want this to look like a Kit Kat wrapper. He did it. This is awesome. The video is not doing it justice. He not only did the logo, but he did the pins, controls, all different colors, extremely custom. And he also offers laser stippling on things like AR-15 grips, laser engraving as well for metal parts, say your slide, frame, 1911 grip panels. Guys, if you want to get some really cool designs done or get some stuff Cerakoted, please check out Liberty Bell Firearms. They're offering the listeners of this podcast 20% off by using code JOJUICE. We thank Liberty Bell Firearms for sponsoring today's podcast. Guys, check out Liberty Bell. I can't stop showing this off. This is the SCT manufacturing, SCT-19 frame. Brownell slide. We got a goon beam weapon mounted light on there. Look at that.
That is good.
If this fits your Streamlight TRL1HL holsters, and it's going to have more candela and more lumens. So check out Goon Beam, use code JOJUICE, but also use code JOJUICE for 20% your Cerakote and stipple services at Liberty Bell Firearms. Look how sexy that is. Granted, this is what's going to lead into the pistols that Anderson has now come out with, which I think is freaking awesome. Let's see what you got. Okay, look at that beauty. Oh, that slide. The barrel has some Nice work to it, and it's optics cut. Let's see. Look at that. That is such a interesting frame. It looks so familiar.
Yeah.
I didn't know this until we were on John Crump Live. But so the Kiger guys is Anderson's kind of entry into the Gen 3 clone of a Glock 19. I think it's a Glock 19 size, right? It's not a full size.
It's Glock 19, yep.
Yeah, okay. So it's your Gen 3 Glock 19 clone, which is awesome because we'll go ahead and explain where the frames come from.
St. Croix Tactical.
Look at that.
SCT.
SCT actually makes the frames for Anderson because I didn't know that you guys didn't have it's the injection molded part of it that you guys don't do in house, right?
Yeah, we don't do any polymer. We don't have polymer capabilities yet. So
now, is that just like, from my understanding, because I understand how like CNC work and metal stuff works, is it kind of it's the same thing of it's more additive manufacturing than regular just CNC cutting metal to what you need. Is it just the tooling and process to get into that is just really expensive at the moment?
It's not an expense thing, I don't think. For us, it's going to require another building. So it's going to be a big investment. Right now, our buildings are chock full of either inventory or CNC machines. You can't go anywhere around here and not see a machine somewhere, except for maybe this upstairs, which is one hallway. Everything else, the barrel cage, the bolt carrier cage, we got a lot going on here machine-wise. But we are the talks have been at the table about adding another building and bringing in capabilities like polymer and maybe some metal injection molding, and then maybe some like anodization type stuff. So really looking forward to that.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. So the Kiger is, when it gets back to you guys getting into a Gen 3 clone, which is awesome. As Flying Rich is texting me, I'm live, Rich. And he's trying to show off his extremely nice frag out designs lowers, or the complete guns. So the Kiger, you decided to go with St. Croix or SCT.
Yep.
They have the best stipple pattern of any frame I've ever tried. If I could find granted, I did find a holster because North Coast Tactical and AKA Fat Tac, you can get a holster for the SCT frame. And because it's kind of the same trigger guard size of the Polymer 80, which I didn't know. So if you go on fattac.com, guys, you can get yourself a holster for a Kiger and or SCT frame. Now with the slide itself, you're coming out of the market with slide cuts, window cuts in the slide on the side of it. Barrels are look from what the one you just showed. If you want to pull it up, is that a flutes in it or just has like serrations on it? Yep,
it is fluted and it's got the serrated chamber here.
Serrated chamber. What is it coming cut for those out there? Please do not tell me what I think it's not, but please tell me it's RMR.
It's RMR optic cut.
Oh, thank God. If you came out saying, "Oh, it's Vortex cut," I'd be like, "Come on, bud."
There's so many damn footprints out there, man.
I know. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, look at this brand new slide. It's got in doctor cut." I'm like, who even uses that?
I ain't no doctor, man.
Exactly. I didn't go to medical school. I just want an RMR. So that means I got to call CNA's Precision and get another $80 plate sent to me. And they're always out of stock. It just,
yeah.
Industry standard, everybody. Let's get a RMR plate. That's all I'm saying. RMR cut makes my life so much easier, which I'm thankful it is because I know I don't have to get a spare plate. Now, what I want to know is because I know sometimes people have said that certain aftermarket slides have issues with, like, say the threading, where it is, maybe the holes don't line up for like the recoil studs, or like stripped out, or as you're shooting it, the optic will flop off. What is Anderson's warranty like with not even just the Kiger, but say any type of rifle that someone has? Obviously, if you take out the original parts, there's going to be, it might affect it. But in terms of like the pistols, at least, what is the warranty like?
So if you click on the warranty on the website, you're going to get like a big thing running through, but I'm gonna break it down Barney style for everybody.
Okay, good.
So whatever you buy from the factory, as long as you don't put like an aftermarket part on there, and the failure can be attributed to that aftermarket part, as long as you don't do any of that stuff and it's not operator error, we're gonna fix it for you. Even if, say, Joe, you bought one, you wound up selling it to Rich, and Rich has now got the Kiger and the front sight flops off. We're gonna fix that for Rich, man. It doesn't just follow like the first guy that buys it and then it ends right there. It follows the firearm, not you. So
that's awesome. Well, one, I'm not selling my stuff to Rich. Okay. No. I am done selling guns. I've sold too many guns this year to help pay bills, and I don't want to sell anymore. But also, he tried getting my Tech 9 for $100 more than what I sold it for, and I was just like, you. I don't know if you've ever, you know who Hank Strange is with the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. So yeah. Hank has been wanting my Tech. I had a Tech 9 at one point. It was like one of my prized possessions. And I decided to let it go because in between changing jobs and starting at Safety Harbor, I needed to have some cash flow until my first big check came in. So I call Hank up and I'm like, all right, dude. And he's hounding me every time we see each other, every time we talk. So when are you going to send me the Tech 9? When are you going to send me the Tech 9? And Rich is like, I'll give you $100 more than whatever Hank's offering. And I'm like, dude. So we have a giant ongoing joke. If Hank wants something in mind, Rich is automatically going to ask $100 more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's good though, that you're gonna honor. Obviously, yeah, if you're gonna dick around with the, you know, aftermarket parts and you don't know what you're doing, okay. Like I can imagine oh man, I have this scratch mark right where the bolt catch is. Can you guys refinish that? Like I would just be like, delete that. I cannot be in a customer service because I see something like that. I know the backside of it. Because I used to deal with warranty stuff all the time, working in gun shops, sending stuff out to warranties. And there are some companies, I'm not going to name, that they will fight with me, tell me I'm wrong, and they're not going to send me a shipping label. But also, customers lie. So
yeah,
they lie a lot. But I can imagine like someone being like, yeah, there's a scratch on my gun. No, there isn't. You replaced the bolt catch, and I can tell where that your roll pin punch hit the outside of the receiver. Like, come on here, come on. No,
I do not envy customer service guys at all, and I don't know. He might be out there, who knows? But my boy Chris, he's an Army grunt. He'll call me sporadically throughout the day, and he'll just be like, "Hey, man, I hope you're not busy, but I just need to vent, bro." And I'm like, hey, you let it out, brother.
let it out. You know, it's all good. Does he work for customer service at Anderson?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's cool. All right. Cool. So it's just he just coming. I don't even call. I'm coming up to the office. All right.
Yeah. Well, he works remote. That's like the only perk of his job is he gets to work from home. But
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you guys have plans with the Kiger to have like say a full size Kiger, or is that you can't say anything?
No, it's not anything I'm under NDA about. Yeah, we hope to expand the product line. The closest product Kiger related that we have to the boat, and we're hoping to be able to launch it at Goals in August, is the extended slide for the Kiger. So we call it the Kiger 9CL. It's a similar in size to a 17.
Yeah.
So we stretch the barrel out to I think it's 4.5 inches. I'm not 100% on that. And you got a larger slide, but it's still the same frame. So you'd be able to, in essence, if you had a Kiger 9C, just buy the slide and you'd have the Kiger 9CL as well. So
hell yeah, that's awesome. All right.
Pretty excited about that. But yeah, that's not where we hope to stop. We hope to expand that line and kind of keep growing on it as we learn. So
and now the Kiger is coming in at what, 4?
So MSRP on our website is $529, but you usually find them in stores around $450, $475.
Yeah, I knew last time I saw it, was the last place I saw a Kiger was around $450. So I was like $450. I'm like, MSRP. So as we're kind of winding down, I know you guys got a new prototype you were working on. I see it right behind you on your desk. If you can talk about it, which I think is pretty cool, coming from the fact that you come from an AR-15 pretty much side of the business, and the Kiger's taken off. A lot of people are really liking it. I've got to handle one before. They're great guns. So what else are you guys working on?
So we are working on our bolt action series, and this is just a prototype. So this isn't necessarily what you're going to see at launch, but I do know that we're pretty certain that we're going to stay with the Trigger Tech trigger here.
Yep, great trigger.
But this is a lot of the reason why we have that excessive amount of Remington custom shop rifles, is because we really wanted to learn a lot about Remington, how they did their bolt action, and also get feedback from people, like what they liked about it, what they didn't like, what we can adjust to make it better, while also coming in at that blue collar friendly price point.
Exactly. So, I that's what another thing I always really liked about Anderson was, I'm a blue collar guy. I never had, I started, I grew up, struggled a little bit. I struggled now, and I'm just a common man. I work at an amazing job building guns. I'm a blue collar guy, and you guys are not trying to ask astronomical pricing, and you have great quality products as well. And I'm interested to see, because the Remington 700 is probably the most copied bolt action receiver on the planet.
It's got to be, yeah.
And so I'm guessing you guys probably do what, 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, and your short actions, and then see where it goes from there.
On launch, yeah. And then we already got our long action figured out too, which won't be the initial launch, but it'll be 300 Win Mag chambered.
Okay. Oh, sweet. All right. That's awesome. Hell yeah. I've never shot 300 Win Mag. I'm kind of a recoil sissy. I don't do recoil that much, and I build 50 cals, so figure that one out.
How's that work?
I see. Walter is the madman that does all the test fire,
nice.
And he always gives me crap because I have this power stance. So Safety Harbor at one point they made keg 12, so that they were like super short, like they were like that big, 12 VA shotguns. It was an AOW with a folding down vertical foregrip. Hold like 2 in the tube, 1 in the pipe.
Sounds vicious.
I finally shot one, and there's a video on my channel that's sitting at like 10,000 views. And I had this power stance because he gave me some like kind of medium grade hot buckshot, and I'm thinking this thing is going to kick like a storm. So I do like my left leg out, bent down, like I'm about to like seriously like brace for impact, like your football stance, and I'm like boom, and it literally just goes. Looking at me like, is that real life? Did you really expect that thing to? And I'm thinking it's gonna fly out of my hand. He's like, hold it like a man and just go for it.
Hey, so, you got to get the power stance in, bro.
Power stance. Yes. Let's see here. Flamers has a question: when is the Anderson bolt going to be available?
That is a good question. We're hoping to get it out before hunting season. So,
okay.
Like to try. I'll say September. Hopefully, that's what we're aiming for. But like I said, dude, we got to get the price point right, and we got to get a high quality product that people are going to want.
Yep, of course.
So those are things that are on the table. We're still trying to figure out. So I can hope and wish all day we get it out before hunting season this year. But at the same time, I don't want to launch it before it's ready to launch, if you know what I'm saying. So.
I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments here. So we had a couple 50s come in for warranty, and he said, and Safety Harbor Firearms says, I have to talk to customers. I didn't use the hammer on the bolt handle. Joe saw the bent bolt handles. I'm telling, and again, it's we fixed it. We took care of the customer, but like I saw it, I'm like, damn, should use a 10-pound sledge on this SOB? So Chris Truteau of the Heller Foundation, she does have a question. Anything that what are some of the guns that you guys offer that you would recommend for a newer shooter? She's not a new shooter, but she's kind of new to like AR-15s. What would you recommend for someone who's just getting into an AR-15? What line from Anderson would you recommend? Because I also know that you have a kind of tricked out gun in front of you. So
yeah,
I saw you bring the rifle, and so I was like, what do you got going on here?
I honestly, I would recommend one of the Frontline series rifles.
Okay.
That would be my recommendation, just because it already has the upgraded furniture, the upgraded charging handle, a very nice trigger. The buffer weight to the gas system makes it a soft shooter, so you're not going to have to deal with like some ridiculous recoil. But man, to be honest with you, any of our AR-15s will fit that. If you're looking to hit like a lower price point, check out our utility rifles.
Okay.
The utility rifles are nice. The Frontline, you can also just buy a complete lower and then go to the Frontline uppers. Gosh, we've got every size you could possibly ask for as far as Frontline uppers go. So you could really kind of dictate, like, man, I want a 14.5, or maybe I want a 12.5. Something that's going to fit you. So
yeah, well, so Christy is like this big. I am 6'2", 6'3". She comes up to about here on me. She's a little one. So a 16-inch rifle probably ain't gonna work for her. And I told her, I'm like, well, hey, I got this 11-5 pistol coming in. So she travels for work, and I'm like, well, pistol should be good depending on, as long as you're anywhere south of Virginia. And I'm like,
yeah,
11.5, or 12.5 might
the
work for you.
11.5, I think the 11.5 would be perfect.
So what do we got going on here? This thing. Let me put you full screen real quick.
It's all beat up because this is my range gun. But
okay.
yeah, so this is my Frontline 11.5. But I think something like this would be perfect for a beginner shooter.
Yeah.
But
well, what do you got for a can on there?
it's an AAC. It's one of the shop stock cans here.
Oh, AAC. Okay.
Yep.
I'm kind of an AAC buff. I'm not gonna lie. I old school AAC, but
yeah, I believe this is the Ranger 5.
Okay. Hell yeah. Let's see. Making sure I'm not missing any questions. Okay, so we do have one quick question we will kind of touch on. Will Anderson ever get back to selling the 80% receivers? Obviously, with the frame receiver rule, that kind of put a halt on everything. And I know, some people actually really did buy they got into the 80% Anderson receiver you guys made. I'm guessing your lawyers, the company's lawyers, were like, okay, chill out with the 80% lowers.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever foresee you getting back into it?
I do. I honestly do. Like I was talking to you and Rich about on Rich's show, that was a big part of our income, was the 80%er market. So when that came out, it really put a damper on us. Not only us, though, the rest of the industry. A lot of maybe I guess you call them our OEM partners, or people that we white label for, would buy 80%ers, and they'd be able to do the rest of the work at their shop. I look forward to talking to Rich's guy at Goals and really seeing if we can figure this thing out and get back to producing some 80%ers, because you hear it a lot from the customers, like, where are your 80s at? And
the home builders too, especially with stuff with machines like the Ghost Gunners, and the jigs are still out there, and that culture of building your own firearms, and that really is building, like, you are taking drill to metal and machining it out, and the 80% game was a huge thing for a lot of people, because they have that notion of, I built this, I put the time into drilling out the mag well and the trigger holes, and the whole, it's just the media and the government decides to put this, like, really bad annotation. And you said this before, Anderson, one of the biggest markets for Anderson is the builder community. The creativity, you guys are able to sell parts kits for under sometimes $70 depending on the sale.
Definitely, always.
I think your lower parts kits are what, like $60?
$60, yeah.
You can't beat that. And Anderson lower parts kits are awesome.
Yeah.
Just gotta listen. I hate A2 grips. You guys gotta do something with the A2 grips. You gotta get the MOE grips out there. All right.
I'm with you. And we do offer a parts kit with the MOE. We just had to upcharge a little bit on it.
I mean, it's worth it, because A2 grips are trash. You're not changing my mind,
I had to deal with them in the Marine Corps. It's one of those things, I just had to suck it up, but
I know. Well, that's the thing. Like, I get it. They're very easy to mass produce, or if you buy them from something, so it's very easy. And like, every gun I've ever bought that has an A2 grip on it, I'm almost instantly. I'm like, I'm paying the $25 extra, and I'm buying a Magpul. Or I've been really liking the Strike Industries in enhanced grips. I have those on my Bear Creek Arsenal and a couple others. Great grips. So I will say that the front line, the 11.5 that is coming to the channel, that is getting swapped out. Like I just.
It's got a K2 grip.
I like the K2, but I need a little bit.
I want to try that Strike. I do want
to try it. Honestly, I would recommend it, and I got no affiliation with Strike Industries. I've always liked their products. They don't actually want to speak to me. I don't know why. Yeah,
man, Strike's an awesome company.
Yeah, they have great stuff. I just never been able to get a hold of them. So Anderson has the 4th of July sale that's starting Wednesday. 15% off site wide, and again, cheat code guys. If you use code JoJuice, you save an extra 10%. He's not going to confirm nor deny that, but I'm going to guess he's going to go. What he's doing that is saying he's not. That is true. You can use, so you can save some big time money. Get yourself a frontline rifle. You can get yourself some parts kits, low receivers. Now, do you guys still run the specials where it's like 4 lower receivers for $100?
We will on occasion.
Okay, because I always heard of those, like you get 4, Poverty Pony lowers, stripped $100, and I'm like, oh, of course, $100 for lower receivers. That's okay. I'm like, how many builds can I do with that? It's again the builder in me, and again, I use building ARs in any type of gun as an art piece. My art is building guns, and that's how I kind of get my creativity out there. So when I can start a base rifle with, the barrier to entry being very affordable for people that work, say, a minimum wage job, you could have, and that's the beauty of Anderson, is you being a blue collar, you cater to that blue collar mentality.
Yeah.
And you're not sacrificing quality. And you can have someone that works at a Dunkin' Donuts, or I don't see anybody working at Starbucks having guns, but you can work at a Walmart and here and there, build your AR just the way you want it, and that's why I'm glad that I'm guessing that now. Would you say you guys sell more lower receivers than anything else?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So yeah, because the full rifles I can see, because I've always known Anderson, like I said at the beginning of the show, you went to Anderson for your lower receivers because that was your starting point. And most of the time you could probably pick up a low receiver and a parts kit for under 100 and call it with shipping $120. Like then okay, all you gotta do is get a buffer tube stock and you got a low receiver. And then down the road, do what you gotta do. As we're winding down, I do want to check. Let's see. I'm going to check with the. Okay, making sure I'm not missing anything. All right. See, Flying Rich is trying to piss me off here. So he says he put an A2 grip on his Geisley. I'm just saying. I love you, buddy. Okay, I'm not doing that. Okay, so I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything in the live chat. Yeah, and he told me at one point he wanted to put like glow in the dark paint all over his Super Duty. I'm like, I know you're trying to like be funny, but don't do that because that would bother me like to my core. But this is how Flying Rich likes to mess with me. All right. Yes, I understand math. I could do 4. CNT Design saying he loves he has a lot of respect for Anderson, has my respect 100%. Christy's saying she's going to tell all the entire presidential campaign staffers to check out that sale. And yes, I understand, guys. 4 lower receivers, I can build 4 guns. I know, but there's endless possibilities to those 4 lower receivers. One could be a pistol, and I can have a couple different uppers. So how many guns off of 1 lower receiver? Just throwing it out there. So I see a couple of people dinging me in the chat. Let's see here. One final question is Anderson lightweight the same casting machines out? What?
I believe they're talking about the lightweight receiver set.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Those are billet. Those are not
Oh,
forged.
okay, yep, yeah. I've never understood the. Oh, I gotta have a billet upper. I gotta have a billet or a low or a forged low. Who gives a shit? That you're not gonna notice it's barely. I've held a billet and a forged. Yeah, the forged is gonna be a little bit heavier, but like it's barely noticeable. Come on, like
Yeah.
and people get. I can imagine the Twitter is going to Twitter and the social media gets into all these fights of billet forged. I want a 1-7. No, I want a 1-9. Like, dude, who gives a shit? Just build the gun. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But as we are over the 9 o'clock hour, I really appreciate you coming on, Kyle. You have an open invite to come on whenever you want, man. I'm super pumped about the front line. I can't wait to get it in.
Me too.
It's going to be awesome, considering that there's no AR-15. Well, I technically have one that I still got to build. I'm talking about building a dissipator. Or about the other stuff. I don't know if I'm able to talk about it yet, but the stuff I told you about earlier. Yeah. That build I'm excited about. I'm gonna make sure I'll probably just end up now. Real quick for Anderson's low receivers, do you make specialty receivers for say if like it will say like say if I wanted to build an M16A4, do you guys make receivers that will like kind of be like not replicas but clones? So if someone wants to build like a authentic clone, they can get the receiver that says M16A4, U.S. military or something.
Yeah,
like
property of U.S. government or whatever. We don't do any of that now.
Okay.
But like I told you, bringing the new CEO in, the new marketing director, it's kind of sprung up a lot of new ideas and a lot of innovations. So I definitely wouldn't rule it out, man.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear. So yeah, Kyle, you have the floor. You can say whatever else, unless there's any other sales that are going on right now. Where you're gonna be? I know you said you're gonna be at GOA Goals in August. So guys, if you were there, check out Anderson Manufacturing, and also check out Fat Tack. They're gonna be at Goals. They run the merchandise again. The Tactical Man T-shirt. Check it out. One of the best shirts you're ever going to buy this year. Just throwing it out there. They go up to 5X, guys. So us big boys, we can be comfy, and they are comfy as shit. So, yeah, check out Anderson at Goals. But, yeah, Kyle, you got the last word, man.
Joe, first off, man, it was an honor. Thanks for having me on your podcast and the open invite. I will probably definitely take advantage of that. As you mentioned, we will be at GOA's Goals. We were originally right next to Fat Tack's booth. But we got upgraded to a larger booth, unfortunately. So we're now going to be at 1204 at GOA in Knoxville. So make sure you get out there. Check out our website next week, starting Wednesday. Get that 15% off, and then whatever else you decide to do during checkout is none of my business. Thanks, guys, for going and checking us out on social media platforms. On X, we're at Anderson Rifles. Every other social platform, we're at Anderson Manufacturing. Check out that Frontline series. Check out the Kiger. And thank you guys for listening. And thanks again, Joe, for having me on, brother. I appreciate that.
No problem. And again, guys, please stay tuned. And if you aren't subscribed, obviously, first, make sure you're following me here on Rumble. This is where we run the Shooting Notes podcast. This will be uploaded. I'm pretty much caught up. I got a couple episodes that are podcast episodes that are in the members section right now on YouTube. They both got green lighted today. So those the next couple days will be up. So I will be up to date on podcasts. And then if you aren't following me on YouTube, check out Shooting Gallery 1 on YouTube. That's the direct line to me on YouTube, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers this year, and we're just past 4,200, so we're well on our way. And if you guys are following me on YouTube and Rumble, you guys will see the greatness of the Frontline series. I can't wait to get this in. Me and Rich are probably going to try and get together because he's got the 16-inch. So we're going to try and do a Frontline video and collaborate because he's got those 13,000 subscribers. So hey, I got to piggyback off him. But yeah, guys, check out Anderson Manufacturing. Use code JOEJUICE for 10% off your entire order. Next week, we do not have a guest scheduled yet, but the following week we have Parcel Safety coming on. They make gas masks. They're kind of the competitor to a another brand that shall not be named on this channel for many reasons. But yeah, we got Parcel gas mask coming on. They're an American-made gas mask company out of Indiana, so I'm pretty excited they're coming on the show. Not next week, the following, but every Wednesday, unless I'm not feeling good. Check us out here on Rumble at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay shooting. Peace.